Hello, welcome to day 7 of my Beethoven choices in his 250th year. At this crazy time, trying to keep his name out there. I mean, not that his name is going to not be out there, but I'm listening to him a lot. I always do, but I'm listening to him a lot at the moment, so I'm just sharing some of that stuff with you. This is also the story of how I don't iron my t-shirts, but at least it's not blue. It's a little bit pink today. Yes, today's choice, as you can hear the tune blaring out at the beginning, is Beethoven's Choral Fantasia, Opus 80. And you probably think, if you haven't heard the piece before, that sounds a bit familiar. That sounds a bit like the Ninth Symphony. And I think it's generally accepted that this tune is an early version of the Ninth Symphony tune. It's similarly incredibly joyous. And it comes right at the very end of this piece. Now, this piece, I've always loved this piece. It's so crazy and enjoyable, and not Beethoven that is particularly contemplative, because he wrote it for the end of a charity concert to just give it a big finish. It's not a slight piece. It's great Beethoven, but yeah, it's not terribly deep. That concert is worth mentioning, by the way, because I'm such a nerd. I actually recreated it on Christmas Day. The concert consisted of the premiere of his Fifth Symphony, his Sixth Symphony, I think 3 movements from his Mass in C, might have been 2, but no, 2 movements I think from his Mass in C, the earlier Mass, not the Missa Solemnis. Some other the 4th piano concerto where he played, and I think he threw in some songs and some piano pieces, but I think the whole thing lasted about 4 hours. I think somebody said at the time words to the effect of, that's just finished, hold on, I'll just pause that. Words to the effect of, you can have too much of a good thing, even Beethoven. And I think the hall was really cold. And of course Beethoven was deaf, so some of the playing maybe was a little dodge. Certainly partially deaf by then, I'm not quite sure. So anyway, back to the Choral Fantasia. That was written to be right at the end of the piece. Now, it reminds me of, because he experimented a lot with music, it reminds me a bit of, stay with me here. It reminds me a bit of those like early, they find in a rock an early form of life that didn't quite go anywhere. There's a very strange looking animal with a sort of and it was like, let's try this life form out, let's see if it takes off. It doesn't. And so there's some examples of those in fossils that don't seem to have any development through the years. And I think this was Beethoven thinking, what would happen if I mixed a piano concerto, a piano sonata, an orchestral piece, and a choral piece, and just threw it all into one and see what happened. And what happened was a great piece of music that nobody else has really tried to copy. And one of the really wonderful things about this is that Beethoven was an amazing improviser. He would just sit down at a piano and go for it without any written music, and just keep audiences absolutely enraptured. And all of his great piano pieces have an improvisatory feel to them. Spontaneousness. So this opens with a piano on its own in a very grand, like I am here way. And Beethoven improvised it on the night and then wrote it down. So it might not be exactly as he wrote it on the night, but he wrote down what he improvised on the night, or somebody else did. And so you get a feeling at the beginning of this piece that you're listening to Beethoven improvising, and it's a wonderful piano opening. I really love it, and it's a good showcase for a great pianist to sort of to sort of show off. And then it sort of develops into variations. So he goes variations on this tune, starting in the orchestra, going around the sort of winds, and then the voices come in, and it has a great big rousing ending. Another one for the walk, and it's 20 minutes, so 25 I think minutes, so it'd be perfect for a walk. Now the recording that I love, it's on YouTube, but without any visuals. And so I would recommend, if you're getting it for Spotify, Daniel Barenboim again, and Otto Klemperer again. I do listen to other people in Beethoven. Some of Klemperer's studio recordings are a little bit ploddy, but he's fantastic in this. And Barenboim, a young Daniel Barenboim, and a very old Otto Klemperer make a wonderful team. And Klemperer, really, like a lot of music, he makes absolute sense of it. And the choir sound wonderful, and it's got a very rousing ending. I'll put a word in for another one, if you just don't fancy that, or you just want to hear another one, is Rudolf Serkin and Bernstein again, who, I think a conductor who can convey a sense of occasion is very useful in this piece, and they both do that. The clip I've chosen is Claudio Abbado and Evgeny Kissin, and I'm looking at the video. I don't really know where it's filmed. I think it might be Russia. I think that might be in St. Petersburg. The actual visual quality of the film is a little grainy, but it has a wonderful sense of occasion, and it begins with a real sort of close-up on Kissin, who's just this amazing Wunderkind. I think he was quite young when he filmed this. I think possibly even in his early 20s or a teenager, and a fabulous player, and it's just got a wonderful sense of occasion about it, this clip. A little sidebar: I saw Kissin in Glasgow once, playing Brahms' Third Piano Sonata. I actually went during a performance of Parsifal, where I had 3 hours off. Went to another concert, and I've never seen anybody so absolutely trying to pretend the audience wasn't there. He just came on like this, sat down, played like a god, got up, walked off, as if, why do I have to do that in front of people? But it didn't matter, because it was just that was him, and the playing was great. Anyway, so that's Kissin on this video, and it's wonderful. So there we are, Beethoven's Choral Fantasia, Opus 80. I think you'll enjoy that lovely sunny piece, and Beethoven in tuneful mode again, because you've had a lot of non-tuneful Beethoven. As I said, Beethoven didn't chase tunes. He was trying to get music to say a bit more, in the way that a painter who doesn't paint photographs just tries to do something a little bit more, if you know what I mean. Okay then, right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.